What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to cover if you should cold approach women, particularly while you are overseas. Now, you're gonna wanna make sure to watch this until the end so you have the proper context for what I am about to say, because without context, this does not matter. So first and foremost, let's define a cold approach. So I don't know what the technical or dictionary definition of cold approach is, but for this video, what cold approaching is going up to a completely random woman who doesn't know you and starting a conversation with her. Now, some people talk about indicators of interest or choosing signals, and some people would say if you get indicators of interest or choosing signals, it's not a cold approach, but I am going to say for this video, that is still a cold approach because you've never had a previous interaction with her. Now, I've talked about in a previous video how you're likely not going to meet the highest quality women unless you cold approach, and I've also talked about in a previous video how you're likely going to be dating down the ladder if you are solely relying on dating apps. Whereas if you implement cold approach and social circle, then you can date up the ladder at least a point or two. So if you're usually getting 5s or 6s, you can get 7s, 8s, maybe on a really lucky day, a 9. And the reason I bring this up is because someone left a comment saying cold approach doesn't work or it only works in certain places, and that's simply not true. Cold approach does work, but more importantly, cold approach is really good for your social skills. And if you happen to start a business or if you're in sales, it's going to help you with that as well, because it's going to help you build your social skills, which is going to help you understand human psychology, and it's going to help you get used to rejection, and it's going to ultimately allow you to take that rejection like water off a duck's back. And so you'll just move on to the next one. So ultimately, this will help you build your character as a man, and it will give you skills that help you in multiple different facets of life. So with all that said, here is how I feel about cold approaching overseas. Now, it depends on the country you're in, because if you cold approach in, let's say, a little town in South Korea and you don't speak Korean, then you're probably going to struggle. But with that so you have to keep the language barrier in mind. But I do think cold approach is a great idea because it's going to help you build those social skills. It's going to help you build a social circle and meet other people. And ultimately, it's going to help you on your dates because you're going to be better at holding conversations, particularly if you don't have a lot of experience dating women. It's also a great way to start building a social circle. But there are a couple things that you should know. So first and foremost, if you make cold approach your guiding star in life, that's not necessarily the best idea in my opinion. And another thing to know is that high value men aren't just trolling the malls for women, hanging out all day and cold approaching everything they see. That is not a high value activity. Now, what they do is when you are living your everyday life. So if you're going to the shopping mall, you're going to the gym, you're out and about doing things that you would typically do, and you happen to run into a woman, then that is an opportunity to cold approach. Don't just hang out on the corner of the street waiting for women to pass by. That's creepy, weird, and once again, not high value man behavior. So I will actually end this video with a quick story. So one time, actually in my previous video, I showed you guys Chapultepec Avenue over by where I used to live in Colonia Americana. I used to walk that street because it's right by where I live, and I would go get a coffee in the morning. And one day I was walking to get my coffee and there was a woman who was walking her dog, and I just happened to strike up a conversation with her. If you are struggling with starting conversations, then leave a comment down below and maybe I'll make a video on how to do that. But in general, I asked her if I could pet her dog. She said yeah. And then I asked what kind of breed it was, even though I knew what kind of breed it was. And she told me what kind of breed. And so I asked, why did you choose that kind of breed? And so I just made some small talk. And then eventually, when it was time to part ways, I got her Instagram or WhatsApp, don't really remember, and then we ended up going out. And the amount of times that I cold approached women on that little avenue and got numbers that ultimately led to dates, which is the most important thing, is absolutely countless. So that is how I implement cold approach in my personal life. I don't just go hang out at the mall all day looking for whoever's there. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, help me out with the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, peace, much love.